Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show, 3 Throw to Go. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live from inside the historic Rialto Theatre. Today we get a chance to tour this theater and hear about its history, but before we do that, let's have a big round of applause once again for Lindy.
Hey Hank, how you doing?
I'm just living the dream.
Today's episode is brought to us by Stray Dog Food Cart, making Akron more Acrony since 2009. The carts have hit the streets, so look for them around town. You can stop by their flagship location located underneath the main Akron Library, or you can head out to the Northside Marketplace. And I saw you were just there on Friday.
I was, and so they invited me out for a meet and greet. Ted Williams, the Golden Voice. You remember that guy's story?
No.
He's this homeless guy that he was holding a sign. He's like, "We'll talk for food and money." And this is not a joke. He ended up on like Oprah and Ellen, and he went like on all these national shows. Okay. Not kidding. Okay.
Okay.
So he was at Stray Dog, and I teased him, right? Because I always say I have one of the best voices in Ohio, and I'm like, I guess I'm not the best voice in Ohio right now. It was pretty funny. So
that's awesome.
All right, go on.
All right. And today's show is also brought to us by Acme Fresh Markets. The 7 Steaks of Summer program has returned. Each week, a new steak of cut will be featured. Simply purchase that steak, and you'll be entered to win potentially free groceries for a year. This week, the feature steak is the beef tenderloin at $11.99 a pound. And Hank, didn't you just smoke some quarters?
I did. I smoked chicken quarters on, was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Oh my gosh, it was $5 for like 8 of them.
Nice.
So for as you know, we have a large family, so it was fantastic. I mean, I couldn't believe the pricing.
Got to feed an army.
Yeah. So today, folks, we're continuing with our sponsorships that we've had, and one of them is Cycling Solutions, right? And Tom's been out and about now, and now it's finally time to get those bikes out. The weather's been fantastic lately, okay? So make sure you look up Cycling Solutions. His number is right here, okay? You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on the interwebs. And he's an expert when it comes to bike fittings and bike repairs. So if you have any issues at all with any of your bikes, make sure you reach out to Tom at Cycling Solutions, okay? In addition to that, today is also brought to us by Nick's Landscaping. And Nick's is located conveniently on the border between Norton and Copley, and he's been taking care of yards for over 20 years. No project's too big or small. Right now, of course, they are very busy, so don't expect them to be able to jump right away and get a project done for you immediately. So I'm sure that, a lot of the landscapers had a lot of issues this year with that early weather where they kind of got backlogged. So be patient when you reach out to landscape companies. But Nick's has got the easiest phone number to remember, I think, in all of Ohio, and that's 330-666-7000, okay? So check out Nick's Landscape and give them a call today. Also, one of our newer sponsors is Mobile Screen of Ohio. This is their phone number right here. Now, Mobile Screen, they're a drug screening company for compliance and accident regulation. But on top of that, they do also, we got a big push with them for this month, that they also do regular first aid and transport. So if they show up to a work site where there's been an accident, they can help out from a generic paramedic capacity. All right, so check out Mobile Screen Ohio if you're a HR director or somebody that's into that sort of thing. Reach out to them. But in addition, we're adding a new sponsor today. We got a call that a group wanted to sponsor us, and that's Custom Spray. Have you ever? You got an apartment. You guys got apartments. Okay? So I have a nice, pretty lawn, and I'm a client of Custom Spray, and they reached out to 3 years ago, and they wanted to sponsor us. So I'm like, that sounds great to me. All right. So Custom Spray is a professional and residential and commercial lawn care company. Their lawn, tree, and shrub services include fertilization, disease control, and pest control. Their lawn care programs also include perimeter pest control, specifically bug busting, mold control, and also getting rid of emerald ash borers. You have to slow down to say that one.
Say it 5 times.
Emerald ash borer, okay? Their number is 330-861-5035. I don't have a placard up for them yet, but I will shortly. All right? That just paid the bills. Now it's time to get to work. Hey, Akron, tune in live right now as we get to meet the folks behind the Rialto Theatre. Let's have a big round of applause for the co-owners. We've got Seth and Nate, and they have invited us to be here today. Guys, thank you so much for allowing us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right. So first off, the main question, I'm going to ask the first question, and I'm going to shut up and let her run the interview after that, okay? Because I talk too much. But I'll contribute here and there. The first question that I always ask is, what is your Akron story? So tell us your Akron heritage, your Akron lineage.
Well, I guess we can start with Nate and I moved in. I went to the University of Akron back in 2003, and Nate had graduated from Hiram at the time, and him and his buddy and my buddy, we got a house together in Akron, and I went to Akron for 4 or 5 years, Archwood Avenue in Akron, and we started a band throughout that process, and toured locally, and came out with some albums in our house, and you know how that story goes when you're poor and don't have any money, but you want to play music, and
sure.
We started traveling, and we got a full band together, and we decided to go for it and put together a big album, and we spent about a year doing that, and throughout that process, Nate got really good at editing and mixing and mastering and all that stuff, and we decided to start a couple recording studios, and throughout that process, start a music venue.
Okay. So what, this was early 2000s?
Yeah. So we've been together, the band's been together about 15 years now.
Okay, what's the name of the band?
It's a band named Ashes.
Ashes. Okay, and where do you guys, you still tour now?
Unfortunately, not as much as we'd like. The Rialto's kind of taken a lot of our time.
It's your anchor baby?
That's right. Well, we needed to subsidize some income because, traveling and all that sort. We
When we stopped traveling, it was gas prices were like upwards around $4.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it was too much to handle. So like we were literally outside of Dunkin' Donuts in Washington D.C. playing for change for coffee.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Or to get to the next location.
Or to get to
Wow.
yeah.
Well, so what do you guys specialize in? What kind of music?
So we,
How do you classify yourself?
yeah, that's
Folk, progressive folk.
progressive folk.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We have Nada's guitar, lead acoustic guitar, lead vocals. I play the keys. We have a cello player, a drummer, and a bassist.
Okay. Okay. But you guys still do perform on occasion,
Yeah.
like festivals and that kind of stuff. And
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. I'll shut up now. See? See how that works?
Oh my gosh. All right, so tell us a little bit about the history of the theater. I've never been here, so but I have friends who live here in Kenmore, and they're always down here, and I always see them post pictures of the sign. So I'm familiar with the outside, but I've never been in the inside. So tell us a little bit of the history of the theater and kind of how you found this venue.
Well, to piggyback on the band thing, when we decided to build some recording studios and create a music venue, we were looking for places, and our drummer, who's in the real estate business, found this place that we're in now back in 2010, and when we moved in, this place where we're at, where the theater specifically is at, in the building, was 4 walls and cement floors, cement walls.
And every business for the last 50 years left their stuff in here.
Yeah,
For
so
us to take
it was
Nightmare to clean up.
right. Well, so we finally got a studio up and running, and in 2011 or so, we were just having band practice and stuff in here, and a friend of ours brought his grandma, and while we were rehearsing, she sat and watched us all, and because she was from Kenmore at the time, and she had mentioned after rehearsal that she would come to this theater, which we didn't know at the time. We
no
thought we were
idea.
just in a vacant building. It was a retail space at the time,
Okay.
and then this was an open warehouse. But she said that she would spend 15 cents and they would come in here, and this was called the Rialto Theatre. At the time, we were coming up with names and figuring out, what are we going to call this place? What are we going to do with it? How are we going to activate it? And throughout that process, that really stuck in our heads, like, let's call this the Rialto Theatre. We didn't know much history yet because we were
Okay.
still new to the community.
We didn't
But-
know if we were allowed to use that name.
Yeah, we
'Cause
didn't even
what
know
if that
if-
was like somebody's name that they
Right.
were.
Copyrighted.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
so-
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when we found that out, we kind of got the place, putting in floors, painting the walls, that kind of stuff, and we're kind of mulling over the names, and we decided, that's the name we should
It was
do.
the
And
best decision we ever made too.
yeah,
'cause
long term, it was a great decision called
The
Rialto.
historical society helped us and lots of help.
Well,
from people.
go over that process.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you heard the name. She mentioned it. And by the way, I put a picture up when I did the event
You
of
did.
us going to be here, and that lady commented on that.
Did she really?
Some lady wrote in. I remember going there when it was
Aw.
15 cents.
15
and,
cents
I don't know if
to
it was
see
that
To
lady.
see a movie, yeah.
Because
The floors were, I guess, were like you would see in a movie theater, angled down and stuff like
Plus
that.
a little bit of history that nobody really knows is that this was the second place to ever have the silver screen,
Yep,
because the silver screen was invented here.
in Kenmore.
Oh, wow.
The gentleman ended up with the daughter-in-law. She's still around.
Yeah.
She's from Kenmore. Her name is Jan Williams. And she kind of gave us a lot of insight in terms of the history.
she
you know,
pulled me
Jen-
aside. I interviewed her.
Okay, yeah, I
on
did
the-
see that when
on
you
the
did
Kenmore walk
First
around.
Friday. I did
Yes.
see her there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
Jan, and we have a great historical program here.
They love
They
this
are
one.
organized and they know about Kenmore. So they gave us a lot of insight. Theater was built in the 20s, closed down in the 50s, and throughout the years, her father-in-law put together this silver screen, and he took it to Hollywood, and Hollywood bought it up and used it in predominant theaters across the country. So this was one of the first housing of the silver screen, which is a really cool history to it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's growing up. I'm 45, and as a kid, I remember that Hollywood's big push was on the silver screen.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
they would say, coming up next on the silver screen. It was like always the tagline. And that was back in probably the 80s,
Yep.
where they would use that term.
Right.
So of course that's what most of my generation is familiar, and being older than me is familiar with
Mm-hmm.
that term, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. And we had used that in the publicity of this event and of this place in terms of when we did Rubber City Reviews here last week.
Yep.
So that's a really neat piece of
Yeah,
historic.
we get questions all the time of not only is it haunted, but we get questions of, were you able to keep anything? And that was one of the unfortunate parts of what we were doing. We were renovating. It was besides the walls, there was not much. The tin tiles of back then. Some venues still have that kind of stuff, but it was
half there.
It was maybe even that, but unfortunately we weren't allowed to keep that stuff. But even the silver screen was quarterly beat up and stuff like that. So, but the name still is alive, and that's, I guess, the most important part.
Yep.
Yeah. So what kind of gave you the idea to renovate? Was it just because the venue itself was just run down and it just needed to be renovated, or was it you wanted to create something a little bit different but still kind of keep some of the history?
Well, our business plan was to be able to record an album and then release it. So, because bands don't have money, and so
projects aren't cheap when you're doing them, recording.
Yeah. So what we were doing before we moved in here was I would record a band, and we would go to a place, and then they would sell tickets to pay us back. Basically, which we still do to this day.
Yeah.
It's not as much anymore because that was when we were doing bands. We do a little bit more hip hop these days because bands are hard. Like being in a band for so long, we know that it's hard to finish an album. By the time you start an album and finish an album, you probably don't even have the same band at that time. Yeah. Because it's a family, and it's tough to get along with so many people and all that. There's so many things about it. So what we try to do is make it quick and easy. Do an EP with us and then sell tickets. I mean, the hardest thing for any band to ever do is sell tickets because it's hard to promote yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that. And so we try to help that out. We try to get other bands to help and get that process going, basically. So to buy a place where we could record it and release it is the best shows we have in here are our release parties.
Release parties are amazing.
It's not necessarily the ones that we record. We've had a couple of really good ones just this past couple
months.
Yeah, amazing shows. It sold out exactly what this venue was made for. So
yeah. And then when the place was unusable when we first created the first studio, so we have a family friend who is really good at carpentry and stuff like that, and he helped us start painting walls, and then you start putting in floor, and then you're like, all right, let's make this nice, let's do this right.
You start seeing it all kind of come together.
Absolutely.
Piece by piece.
And it was a long process.
You make a little bit of money and you spend it. You make a little bit of money and you spend it. And everything seems to be $10,000 no matter what you do.
Yeah, I know.
No matter what
you budget.
Magic number.
It is the magic number. 10, 10, 15.
Bazinga.
Even if it's 2,000, it ends up being 10,000 somehow. It's crazy.
It's like renovating a house. It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
So.
And it never ends, to be honest.
You need a fridge. Guess how much it is? $10,000.
Well, that was the answer to my next question. How's the process going?
Yeah.
Well, we are 80% done right now. I can say that.
We're about to knock down some walls up here and put in a lobby. Like we do a play once a year that I started, and it's with my father and a man named Charlie Shook. He runs the Houston Hall in Norton. Charlie's in Norton for the longest time he ran, but it was a smart business decision because those two sell a lot of tickets, especially Charlie. So we sell out this place, and we need to have a place up front where people can go and sit and
during an intermission.
So that's what our biggest goal is, and plus we'll be open every night from there on out. Like right now we're pretty much open event based, so. We want to open it up. We're gonna have hopefully some appetizers, that type of stuff.
A small kitchen.
Small kitchen.
Kind of the goal.
Big coffee, stuff like that. That'll be open every day in the front, and then back here will be open for event-based type of stuff.
So more having a little bit of a coffee shop, cafe type of place
what
where
we're
people
hoping.
can come every day and just.
It's gonna be
hang
called the
out.
Rialto Living Room. Actually.
Nice.
So Nate came up with a great idea. We got the theater.
Okay.
Let's create a little living room for the theater, and that's kind of
we'll have a little
That's
stage up
awesome.
there so we can have people when people are walking in at 6
shows and stuff like
Okay.
that.
I mean, we've had a couple really national acts. I mean, and doors open at 7, and people show up at 5:30.
Wow.
And they
Standing.
just stand out there. There's a line down the boulevard
Yeah.
for that.
We
Yeah.
had
You know.
we had the voice winner of 2015, Sawyer Fredericks here,
Wow.
and I mean he sold it out in no
That's
time.
crazy.
But yeah, people were standing outside, and Nate and I are thinking, yeah, along with the theater stuff, but even this, I mean, you can get people to come in while we're doing sound check, and the bands are getting settled in. Let's get them in here an hour or two early.
Yeah,
Let a local acoustic artist perform while people are sitting and lounging.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
That's great.
Mhm.
So besides the obvious shows you were telling us about, what other kind of shows and acts do you guys have?
We do it all.
Everything, you name it. So yeah, music from hip hop to folk to rock to blues to jazz, whatever, and all the way to comedy. We've done poetry here,
We've had some
art
rap
shows.
battle.
We've had a rap battle. We had a private party last night, so if anybody's looking to do a private party,
Okay.
we did a going away celebration for someone who's going to Vegas last night. But to theatrical acts, we have a kids play coming up in August.
Yeah, August 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
Second, third.
So you're really open to kind of whatever
Yeah.
entertainment wants to come in.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I mean, we get bored doing music all the time.
Yeah.
Now, when you do a private party like that, do you allow like outside catering to come in and stuff?
Yeah. So until we get that cafe done. No,
Right. That's my
yeah.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's the other reason why we want to get the small kitchen together. But yeah, you can bring in outside food and stuff like that for the parties.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So you were telling us a little bit about the future plans for the space. Are there anything else besides getting that little living room area up and running that you guys are thinking about?
I think our main goals after that are trying to create because we have some cool organizations here in Kenmore, but kind of help create more culture on the boulevard.
Mhm.
Okay.
Get people here and keep them here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that with First Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, and
Having you guys around, spreading the word like that's huge.
Yeah, positive. I mean, this is so good for Kenmore again
Yeah.
because it's positive.
Positive press.
Positive
Yeah.
press for Kenmore.
you and I had talked about this off the record the first time we met, where all this place really needs is this whole strip just needs a coat of paint.
I agree.
Just and everybody put a light on in front of their building.
Just
You
put
know,
put
Get
light it up,
welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's exactly like what just happened in like the Cuyahoga Falls area around the boardwalk.
Mhm.
Okay, you see this happening now in all these small communities. Okay,
Yep.
and it's not like that expensive to do.
Mm.
It's not rocket science.
There's
not-
small little things that we could do that
just
could create
to
a
just
huge-
make
coat of
it
paint would-
look presentable.
I mean, this brick is probably 60 years old and it's falling apart.
More like 100
100 years
yeah.
old. Yeah.
Sure.
You can paint. Yeah, I agree. You can do small little things to.
Pressure wash and paint.
I will say this though, I'm part of a comedy group with the Merkins, and
Okay.
they did the Bleacher Report paid us to record and do a video.
Was it
here.
Richie?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you know
Richie.
Richie? Okay.
I shared
knows
on.
everybody.
I,
Scott and I
sh-
talked about
I
that.
shared on 330 the moment I saw it.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It was,
Well, but you see, people were commenting like, "What part of LA is that?" It's like that's not LA. That's the Boulevard. you know?
it's Kenmore,
Kenmore,
baby.
Akron,
Yeah,
Ohio.
you see the Rialto, right? That's where they start.
Yep,
and I'm like,
that's
because I pointed it out, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody wants to like have all this positive change, and people are complaining about all the negative things, and
Right.
it's like, but what are you doing to like
Ab-
be
and-
proactive about
and that's-
helping?
That
You're-
is
you
so
you just
true.
hit the nail on the
That
head.
is
And
exactly it.
in,
man.
in smaller communities, it can be that can be a big factor, and
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Well, everybody knows about it. Everybody talks, but what are we actually doing?
Yeah, the small paint job,
And
that
it
we
doesn't
could be
happen
doing,
overnight,
or,
but you still, but you can save up slowly to get that coat of paint. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we did for the
Yeah, we
of
would
our
never
building.
have this place without starting
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
Well,
it's
and-
like
and-
if you're gonna have a business, you need to think about like going into the future. Like you're gonna have maintenance things. You're gonna have things that
Absolutely.
need upkeep.
absolutely.
If you're gonna own a huge plaza business, you have to keep
Yeah.
the outside looking
I
good
agree.
too.
I agree.
You have to.
And they're going to see this, okay? And that's fine. That we're getting that message out there, okay?
Yep.
Because I guarantee that Kenmore Neighborhood Alliance is going to share this. I
Yep.
guarantee Tina will,
They've
okay?
been doing amazing.
All right?
Yeah, and Kenmore Neighborhood Alliance is great. And that's the kind of community that the organization that we're talking about is helping them.
Sure.
Yeah. but-
Okay. You ready,
Yeah.
you ready to walk?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so
I'm
I'm typically I usually try and keep this thing connected. I'm not messing with all that. We're just gonna go phone. That way
Okay.
you're not tripping. Okay.
That's fine.
So when we're talking, just make sure you guys talk louder because we're just using the phone mic. All right.
Sounds
All right.
good.
We're gonna take a walk around and check this place out, everybody. So hold on to your hats because you're about to see some stuff. Like right now, you're looking at the little backdrop. That's not what this place is all about. All right. All right. Let's do this. And here. All right. Let's pan around.
So you're gonna do a little.
We do the pan around.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about everything that we see up on that wall right there.
Okay, well we've got some local artists. This is actually a photographer named Dan Rowland. He's actually from Kenmore. He does some amazing stuff. There's some skylights from Cleveland. Those are from Porter's Lakes area.
Okay.
So he does Akron, Cleveland, but his stuff's awesome too. So and then we kind of filter in some of our artsy stuff where
So,
things are needed.
as a gallery, is this stuff all for sale right here?
Yes, his stuff is for sale. They did a Kenmore Imagineer back a couple years back, and we've left these up. But these are so what they did was they took they opened it up to community to kind of figure out like where would you want something cool in Kenmore. So like here is off of East Avenue, somebody wanted a Kenmore Pride thing. So they let them draw some of their stuff on here. We've actually left these up. And there was a winner.
Okay.
This is the gentleman that won. This is actually going to go on the building right next to us.
Okay.
But yeah, so those are kind of some of the local artists. We forgot to mention we do a paint and sip. We haven't done any here, but there's a couple paint and sip paintings from
Okay.
when we've done that.
Let me pan around now so that people actually see the stage.
Yeah,
So that's where we're at, folks.
that's
So-
what we're. Yep.
Let me back up here so you can see the space. So that's the stage area. Excuse my cart. That's kind of gumming up the look. But you can see they've got their tables and chairs are put away for right now. And I'm going to pan around, and here is the bar. Okay, what's the story? Who built the bar?
We actually.
This is
built
like
that.
the fourth try.
Yeah. We put a manufactured bar in it about 8 years ago just to have something, but
Okay.
like I said, we have a family friend who is a great carpenter, and he was a big advocate he really appreciated what we were trying to do, and he helped us out, and he's tremendously. So he was great. He's kind of the backbone behind it.
So on a typical night when you're at capacity, in the 100-person range,
Yeah.
how many bartenders are running back here?
Well, 3.
Okay.
It depends on who, I guess.
Okay.
We did a Fancy Legs who actually played at the Kenmore First Friday in July, and they did a series part back in April, and there was 4 or 5 of us back there. It was
Non-stop
crazy.
for like 2 straight hours.
Okay.
4 straight hours.
Okay.
So yeah, I can get busy.
We have an on-site protector.
Yeah.
The security force is here. What's his name?
Keeper.
There's Keeper, and he is an Australian
Cattle dog.
cattle
Yep.
cattle dog, an Australian cattle dog.
Our team mascot.
Team mascot, Rialto mascot. Here he comes. Here comes Keeper. I think.
Keeper.
Here he comes. He reminds me. I said off screen earlier. He reminds me of Bolt.
I can see that now that you say that.
So
I mean,
there's Keeper. So he's in charge of security here. All right. You want to take a peek upstairs?
yeah. This is where Nate's territory is. Nate is the mastermind in terms of the audio and sound and lights and stuff like that. So
Okay.
we're going up to his
Domain.
domain.
Now, typically, this is not open to the public. This part.
Correct. This is actually a little area we give to artists to lounge. Especially some of our national acts that want to kind of get away from the public. This
Okay.
is kind of where we house them.
So here's this. It's like the green room.
There you go.
This is
It's-
where-
it's the green room.
This is where you get the M&Ms in a bowl.
There you go. Yeah. Well, some of those writer lists that people give us are quite extensive. So
We're up above.
6
This-
Red Bulls.
Here's the
Yeah.
view.
I need 3 ginger ales.
Here's the view from the balcony. Okay, we're heading into the tech room.
Yeah, this is where
This is where the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens.
Okay.
This is
And
where we can do
speaking
some.
of, we were talking about that picture real quick. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope, there it
But
is.
there's the front of, well, there you can see 1920 to 1951.
Wow.
And then there's the picture.
And that's the
that
screen.
Scott,
That's the
you were
picture
talking
that I
about.
got. Yeah, I found that one.
That's cool.
Pretty cool history, man.
All right.
Hey, some dude was driving a car just like that, just down the boulevard like 2 days ago. I was like, man, we gotta get that picture.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
So-
avoid that part.
There's no security. Yeah, we're able to do lights and sound from here, and then from there we're able to do it on our iPhones or our iPads.
Yeah.
Because just the way everything is these days.
Technology today has blessed us with the ability to walk around and do sound and lighting at the same time.
Yeah.
What's really cool too, that Nate has kind of like mastered with our stuff is for artists that are looking to just perform, you can actually record your entire show and we put it right into Pro Tools. We have the tracks. You can actually get it mixed, mastered, or take it with you, whatever you'd like. It goes right from the stage into our board that you can use to access
awesome.
for later use, or we've done a lot of live at the Rialto shows that artists are able to sell and whatnot. So
Okay. Okay. So typically, like, how many? Most of these, I mean, you can't fit a whole band with all their equipment in here.
no, we'll actually
Well,
record on
yeah.
it.
You'll record
right
up
on
there.
stage, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do I do a lot of hip hop and stuff. I just do it all right there on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They like that feel.
The
Okay.
room has a really cool natural reverb, natural sound to it. So besides some minor tweaking with some sound panels and stuff, the room itself sounds good. So you can actually just record right in the room. We've
Okay.
actually recorded an 9-piece band at one time back there. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let's go toward the front, I guess. All right. So again, here's the view. Got their disco ball is up.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Got to have a disco ball.
Yeah. Gotta have.
And this is the view from up above. I'm one of the only, and I say only, and I mean that literally, I'm one of the only traveling wedding DJs in all of Ohio that still takes a disco ball.
Is that right?
Everybody, when I walk in, people go, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
I go, "It's my disco ball."
That's right.
So,
You'll learn to love it.
yep. All right, so we're heading out. So, and again, there's a lot of space here, like you said, that's not used.
Right. It was at one time. So we have another recording studio.
Okay.
And we relocated that next door because our goal was to put this cafe / living room in. So we relocated them, and they wanted a little more privacy too because this is kind of a heavy traffic area when we're doing shows and stuff.
Okay.
Do we want to show you the construction that we're doing now, or do you want to go?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, right now, like, what's this room right here?
So this is all going to be. This was actually the old recording studio. The lights are off, so it's a little dark in here right now. But this is actually all coming out. Everything here.
So
This is
all
coming
that
out.
space is
So
going
when
to be
you actually
cleared.
come through the front door, you're going to be in the living room. Can't really see
You
much.
can see here. You can see here. All right, let's talk about this. This is the brilliance of your brother, right?
Yeah, Nate did that he started using glue,
Uh huh.
and his arms were about to fall off.
Uh huh.
It's still mostly glue.
But we gave him a little nailer, and we're like, Nate, this is going to change your life. And
Was it just pieces of wood, or
Yeah,
did you use
so-
like Jenga games?
right? Exactly.
It started off with just extra wood that because this was our studio. This is our control room, and it was really bouncy.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of wood left over, and I just we had a sander.
Yeah.
I just over one night I just sanded it all, and it was like, you know what, let's try it and see what it looks like. It immediately like diffused all weird echo off, in this room.
Well, it's the same concept of the foam, except you did it for free because you had the wood
We had the
left
wood.
over. So
And then we just
There was quite a bit of cutting on my part because he started in a small corner. He's like, I love this. He's like, can you cut me this? And then like,
well, then it turned into, well, now I gotta make it
I
look
was
like something.
Right, I was cutting wood for days.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
we still have plenty left, so it's not done.
All right, let's head on toward the front now, or yeah. All right, so 330 day. Did you guys participate in that?
Yeah.
Did you play?
That was 2 years ago.
That was 2018.
Did you play?
We didn't play in 2019.
I played by myself.
Oh,
actually.
there's a band named Ashes.
Yep.
So I was at that one. That was at the Civic, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I attended that, and it was one of the first things I did recording live where I did music with this.
Okay.
So, ticket window.
Yeah, this is not activated yet as well because we're kind of activating all this together
Right.
in one go.
Okay.
But so when we had first moved in, just a quick brief this was all boarded up wall.
Okay.
It was boarded up, and there was a little residential door that you come in. But we had always planned on renovating this, and we had mentioned earlier that one of the best things we ever did was name this place the Rialto Theatre, because the city of Akron got word of that, and they actually want to spend some money on Kenmore Boulevard as well, which is huge because you need the city to kind of start throwing some funds this way. But they do a grant program, and they kind of use the Rialto as its model child, and they found out that you named it the Rialto, and they gave us some pretty good money because this stuff ain't cheap. But so the city of Akron did a great job of coming in and helping us finish, the glass work and the entryway and stuff. So
Technically, you're still in Akron's jurisdiction,
absolutely,
but you're considered a burg? What would be Kenmore?
Suburb.
yeah.
It's not really a suburb. It's more like a like a burg.
Our address is Akron, Ohio.
kind of like North Hill.
Yeah,
North
exactly.
Hill, Kenmore. I'm in West Akron.
Absolutely.
That's
There you
exactly
So,
go.
what it is.
Yep.
They're like,
It has to be.
yeah.
Kenmore was its own though at one point.
Okay.
It was its own at one point.
Keeper's just like whatever, man.
I know, keeper is.
All right, get a peek at the sign here for you guys, which I showed you this earlier. So again, here we are on the boulevard. Oh look, look at that.
That's right.
Well, Lindy, we got our name up in lights.
I took a picture.
Positive press for
It finally happened. Our name is up in
We
lights.
already had him figured out before.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This thing will light up pretty nice and bright, for sure.
Well, and so let's talk about the sign itself. Why did you guys design it that way? Why did you pick that style? What was the thought process?
Gosh, that's a great question.
Isn't it?
We got our mascot. Yeah, there's our mascot.
I see him. Okay, keep going.
But I don't know. I guess we imagined it tall and not as much wide as tall.
Okay.
Like I said, the name is kind of the biggest thing we have stuck with. The theater itself, the theater marquee back in the 20s and 50s was different than it is now. So I think we put together the what we want kind of thing, and the architect who put the designs together kind of laid it all out for us.
We came up with this idea to get this in 2012, and I said, we're going to do it. We're going to do it one day. It's going to happen.
Okay.
5 years later in 2015.
Yeah.
2017.
17 is when it went in?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back upstage and close this thing down. It is warm. Come on, puppy. Walking in. So this gives you guys the scope of the depth of the theater. So it's a decent distance, and here's the restrooms. The restrooms are located relatively close in proximity to the bar and the open space. All right, we're heading on in, back up to the stage. This gives you an idea, again, walking up to the stage of how the theater's laid out. And let me pop this back up. Right here. All right, good. And we'll plug back in. All right. Good job, puppy. Way to escort us.
Yeah, he's the escort
Like,
today.
my work here is done.
All right, so there you go, folks. That is a really neat space, and it's like, obviously, and you guys know this. It's a labor of love, right? I mean, you're in the industry of creation, really. I mean, you create art, you create music, you create spaces that don't exist.
Something from nothing.
You help people to realize their dreams. So it's very honorable. It's a very honest line of work that you guys are in, and I know the music industry and the promotion industry has this tendency to get like a stigma about it. Okay, but if you guys maintain, basically, what I see you put your family values into your business.
Sure.
And there's a lot of respect in that. So good job.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah, no, thank
Keep
you
it
so
up.
much.
So thank you so much for having us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And now, what'll happen is we've been live for about almost 40 minutes now. So this will be I'll pop this up on YouTube. I'll probably tweet it at Hollywood, and whoever else, but now it's your property. So use this as a commercial for yourself.
Absolutely.
Use it as, it's your story, and it's a chance that you got to tell your story and share it with whoever you want. So you guys own it. All right.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Thank
good.
you very much.
Okay. All right. Well, hey Akron, hey 330, hey Canton. I know. We always, I know. Canton's part of 330. We'll get down there soon. I got some coverage coming up. All right. So this has been great. And again, thank you guys so much for sharing your stories. Hey, next week next week's a wacky week for me. So special show coming to you live from West Branch State Park. I'm going on vacation. I'm taking some time off from life. And which camping is not exactly a vacation. If anybody has children out there, camping is sometimes more work than it is vacation. But the dog's on me. But go on, buddy. Just don't get caught on that. He's gonna get stuck. All right. So next week we're live from West Branch State Park, and I get a chance to go live with the actual folks that run the state park, and we're gonna see the inner workings behind the scenes of how a state park is run. So that should be an interesting show. And then immediately following that, I'm going to be at Brown's training camp. So myself and one or two others are going to be covering Brown's training camp for the first 2 days. It's 3-3 to go. I'm waiting on our Cleveland Browns credentials, so that's why I'm wearing my little shirt here. Okay, but we'll see if I get approved for official media credentials with the Browns.
They could be good this year.
They could be good this year. There's a rumor that they could be good this year. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. But the point is, it all starts next week. So I'm going to be live covering that. And then I can't remember where you'll be back with me after that. I know we're doing something. It's just,
Figure it out.
You never know what our
Whatever.
topics are. You never know what
Go
our
with the
topics
flow.
are.
She's ready to go.
I know.
Just
All
a
right.
call away.
All right. So it's funny you say that because that's what today was.
Yes. I need you at the Rialto today.
She goes, do we have a show today? I'm like, yeah.
He sent me the script. I was
yeah,
like,
I'm like, here's
you
the
never
script.
told me
She's
that,
like,
but
we
I'm
got a
like,
show.
all right.
All right, so thank you to all our sponsors. Thanks to the Rialto, and again, we're going to try and incorporate them moving forward with Rubber City Reviews on a more regular basis. We'll see how that goes. But until then, I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense of being late. Guys, join me if you would, and say goodnight,
Nice,
Shirley.
Good night, Shirley.
Good night.
Who's Shirley?
This podcast is a copyright of Moon Garden Media Limited.
Oh, just a lot of peanut butter.